Predator, the original from the 80s. I haven't seen this since the days of VHS. And actually, I had heard bad things about this conversion. In fact, I had heard that it was only partially converted and they left large portions of it flat. Let me say that that is not true. This is actually a fairly impressive conversion. Now take a look at the dust on this window, and I love how they maintain that dust while moving the background in stereo. Now some of the foreground, when people are in the foreground, they tend to be a little flatter than what I'd expect from a current day conversion, but it's still very impressive, especially consider all that foliage. It takes place in the jungle. There's a certain leaf that has kind of like a Venetian blind pattern, and when they're running through the jungle, sometimes that Venetian blinds, if the camera was moving too quick, it seemed to mess up the depth, so it kind of, the depth got a little confused. Look at the flare of those guns. This is a really fun movie, and they do a great job putting all the action in 3D. The fireworks and the smoke, even when they're smoking cigarettes, or fog, or after effects from explosions, how they just hoover it in the air very well here. Now, the Predator itself is this weird invisible creature. There you see its arm. And now the effect was very unique for the time. And actually now, if you ever listen to the David Paulides, Missing 411, there are people out there who claim there are invisible things in the bushes hunting wanderers who go in the wrong areas. If you want to stay up at night, look up Missing 411 on YouTube and spend a few hours with it. So yeah, I don't know what anyone was griping about. I did not notice at any part of this movie that wasn't converted. Towards the end, it gets a little dark, and yeah, the depth does become shallow in many parts. But I don't think that it didn't seem to me like they were cheaping out or anything. It just seemed to be a choice of how they chose to deal with those scenes, which were dark, which were never going to show up well in 3D anyway. Now here you see the Predator jumping from a tree, and when it's flat, it just kind of looks like a blur, and that's easy to miss, and the depth really helps show that there is something there. Predator is kind of a neat movie. Now again, I haven't seen this in so long, I didn't realize that it's actually almost a satire of the 80s action movies. It starts off with a very typical jungle assault, very typical for that time, right, with one-liners, and that it takes a U-turn into kind of a suspense horror territory. It's almost like Scream in the jungle, which is a comparison I didn't expect to make. It's also a historically peculiar movie. There's two future governors playing in this, to say nothing of the movie itself. I mean, this movie has, 5, 6, possibly 7 sequels by now. The first sequel in the 90s with Danny Glover, that one I remember enjoying quite a bit. It didn't have any suspense, but it was a really good shoot-'em-up for its time. And the first Aliens versus Predator, I think, is a classic in and of itself. And now that one could really use some 3D treatment. So this original one, it has no overreaching story by way of a franchise, just sort of this one character that they're always looking for something for it to do. Now, I thought this was going to be a turkey of a conversion. I was surprised. I don't know what I was reading, but they were wrong. I like this. I like this a lot.